outdoors.
More than
Right.
just soccer fields or something? Oh, really?
Okay, we're gonna call a meeting to order. It is Tuesday, October 29th, 2024. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Minutes and reports received and filed.
We do not have any this week.
Commissioner Committee liaison reports, upcoming meetings and events.
Looks like Friday morning, we've got Eastside Business Association meeting. Saturday, there's St. Thomas Fall Fantasy Dinner. And if anybody's interested in going, I think there might be a few tickets left. Just let me know and I'll get in touch with my people. I think that's about it.
I don't think I have any county business on my calendar until next Tuesday's election day. And we will not meet
No, we
on,
will be meeting on Wednesday.
On Wednesday.
Yeah.
Next week, because the clerk will be using these chambers.
and we're gonna clear out early today so all the early voters can get in here and use the spot, right?
It's phenomenal. Yeah.
So no questions? Is it?
Depends on how our close.
No
session
questions.
goes. Okay, well, today, Capital Region Medical Center has their health needs assessment report at 3 p.m. Wednesday, Central Workforce Development Board, and a TIF board, meeting Wednesday. Thursday, yeah, we'll do that. Friday, anybody wants to come down to the Westphalia Historical Society, we're doing a cemetery tour of the old cemetery starting at 7 p.m. And Linda and I, we're playing dead people.
Oh.
So, and then Saturday is a downtown sit-in shop, and we will be at American Shoe helping. That's all I've got. Any commission comments? Okay, bids and contracts. Bid award of 2024-20 Workman's Compensation Insurance.
We bid out our workers' compensation insurance and had 2 vendors that submitted a response. Our recommendation is to award it to Acusure for a total estimated annual cost of $353,000, $299.
Is that who we had it with before
And
then?
Acusure is bidding MEM, Missouri Employers Mutual.
I do have the bid tab if you guys don't have it there.
Yeah, it was attached, so I do have it.
Yes, it is currently the vendor that we're using, which is MEM. And we are pleased with the service that we get from them. So due to the lower bid, I would recommend too that we would stay with MEM.
Seems like they're getting closer and closer, the bids are. Didn't it used to be a bigger difference?
Yes. We did have another vendor that may be visiting with us next year about maybe doing workers' comp a little bit different. So we have the option every year to renew or not renew, so,
Our experience ratio is ticked up, right?
yes.
Which is as a result of folks getting hurt on the job,
Yes,
accurate to say?
we've had some large dollar claims in the last year. It'll affect us for the next 2 years going forward.
Is there a 3-year trail on experience?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep, I'm good with renewing it. We're renewing it then.
Awarding, we're not renewing, this is the actual award.
Yeah.
So I'll make a motion to award the workers' compensation insurance to Acrisure.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. New business, accounts payable review.
I will ask for approval of accounts payable pending review.
I'll make a motion to approve accounts payable pending review.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Second and final reading of budget adjustment number 12.
This is for $8,395. This is the bulletproof vest, 50% match. But this part is the grant. So I do need action today to change the budget, so.
Yay.
Harry's gone right now, so we can do what we want to, Sam.
Yeah.
He heard us. All right. So on the budget amendment too, you heard it was for the vest, good? Okay. Make a motion to approve court order number, which one is this? 12. For $8,395 for the bulletproof vest.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay. Approval of the vacation leave accrual change for the 2025 year.
If you guys remember when I had come to you guys about the changes to the manual maybe for the upcoming year, there was one thing that we compared the city and OA and conservation to. We were lacking on new hires, basically from 0 to 2 years. That most every other entity is letting them accrue at 120 hours, and we were still at 96. So I'm proposing to change that for next year, to go to the 120 hours per year. That would be from 0 to 10 years of service. And you can see there the difference between the city, OA, and conservation. They are all at the 120, starting at 0, or starting at day 1 with new employees.
Debbie, would this be employees that are still under that 2 years of service?
Absolutely.
They would apply to, right?
Mhm,
Okay.
mhm. From the day, from 1/1 of next year.
Okay.
Not going backwards at all.
Right, just
but yeah.
starting, yeah. Understood.
So basically, any of our employees that don't have the 2-year mark yet, theirs would be upticked on 1/1 to do that.
I would hate to lose a prospective employee just because of something like this.
So I'd ask you guys to basically approve the change to the vacation leave accruals for the year 25.
And the only change is for that 0 to 2.
That's right.
Okay.
Going
I'm
from
good.
the-
I talked to Debbie about it earlier, cause see where we were going with it.
Just need a motion.
Yes, please.
I'll make a motion to amend or adopt a change in the vacation leave accrual for employees in the 0 to 2 year space.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Approval of purchase of 2 single axle dump trucks.
We would like to do an advanced purchase of these 2 trucks for next year's budget. We've been doing this recently due to delivery delays with a lot of our heavy equipment. It takes upwards of a year to get, so we'd like to do the advanced purchase in this case. These are international single axle dump trucks. The vendor is Rush Truck Center, Missouri, and they've informed us that next year they're changing the motor and doing some additional emissions that are gonna cost, it's gonna cost about $20,000 more. So we wanna get this order in now rather than wait till next year. That's an added benefit, plus we'll get the trucks sooner than later. The 2 trucks, it'll replace 262 and 263. One is used by the sign shop and signing and striping shop, and the other's just one of our regular trucks. 262 will get a new flatbed instead of a dump bed, and it also will have a spreader and plow that'll come with it. We'll order those separately. This is just for the cabin chassis. Instead of, right now, that truck has a dump bed or a dump body on it. We're going with the flatbed body because it's used by the signing and striping crew. They primarily use it during the summer when they're striping. They haul their paint totes with it, so we don't really need the dump bed. Just the flatbed is preferred. Actually, it's cheaper too. The other truck will change over one of our other beds on the existing truck over. So that cost, if you look down below the budgeted amounts, you'll see that they're different, and that's why. It's just a different equipment needing to purchase on one, and we'll swap over on the other. And then out of the budget, this is the 211 budget. The total amount that we're budgeting for equipment is $460,000. These 2 trucks plus a F550 truck replacement. Again, this is an advanced purchase, assuming the budget's approved as it's been submitted and hopefully recommended by the auditor and approved by the county commission. So We did a greater purchase out of the sales tax equipment budget. That was $357,000. We'll also have a sweeper. We may or may not do an advance purchase on that. So quite a bit of equipment purchases budgeted for next year. Again, we did the grader. We'd like to do these 2 trucks. And if it's allowed, we'll try to do that Ford 550 also.
So when will we take possession of these two?
Uh,
Approximately.
I don't know that I asked that. We're looking generally 9 months or so on trucks now. It used to be upwards of 2 years. Certain models are a little bit less. There's 2 proposals. They're the same amount. They're both $118,759.23 for a total of $237,518.46. They're actually 2 proposals because they're a little bit longer chassis. One is over the other, so sign the 2 proposals, but it actually, they're the same price each, the way they were quoted. So, any questions about anything?
So the one's a longer one, and the other one's a dump.
Yeah. The
But
longer
they're the
one,
same price.
They're the same price, yes.
Do you get the color you want?
White.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
with a black frame and all that. But yeah, it's 2 quotes, and if you guys are good with it, I'd recommend approval of these. We'll get them ordered and have them ready for next year and beat that price increase for next year.
Good. You have the numbers, or,
It's on here.
I didn't
Oh,
pull
I
that
got
up
them
yet.
here.
You got
Mary, I'll
Okay,
just
go
make a
ahead.
motion then. I'll make a motion to approve the purchase of 2 single axle dump trucks for a total of $237,518.46.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
It's on the last sheet that he was.
Okay, okay. I can do that.
Tell them to send some rain with those too, because our gravel roads are
Tomorrow
starting
night,
to get pretty dry.
Yes, they are. I agree.
We've had another complaint about all the dust. So we're out there doing our rain dances as much as possible.
Can only do so much.
okay.
Told them we wouldn't put any extra dust out there if we could help it.
It creates its own.
It's getting, yeah,
It's bad.
it starts getting above the trees, you gotta start wondering.
Okay, approval and signing of Republic Service contract for EMS.
This is just a signing of a contract with Republic Services for a new dumpster over at the new EMS building on Adams Street. It's for a monthly total cost of $62.23 for a 2-yard dumpster.
Is that what y'all have at the,
No, it's a half size.
okay, you'll still need that one over there too, though. We'd be able to maybe make it smaller and, or it don't matter.
I would say no, because all of our logistics and our supplies are at the other building, which creates a lot of trash and other type stuff. And we're not really getting rid of a whole lot of people, admins moving out, but we don't create, the daily
Okay.
waste, so. I'd like to, but I don't think so. But we can always value it.
Yep, okay. I'll make a motion to approve and sign the Republic Services
Thank you.
contract for the dumpster at EMS.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, unfinished business, discussion approval of health insurance rates for 2025.
Okay. As of last week, Thursday, when Joe and Randy were here, you guys approved staying with UMR. You approved staying with Sun Life for our stop loss. You also approved the dental, vision, and group life and optional life, staying with Sun Life. And you voted to add the short-term disability for our employees with the option for them to buy the long-term. But really, the only thing that we left open was the pricing, right? As you heard from Joe and Randy, they explained the fixed cost was going up next year, and the actuaries, what they are assuming that we will pay for medical and prescription by about a little over 19%. So then it was, and as you may or may not know, the insurance fund has been hit the last couple of years, bringing down our reserve. We went from 3.4 to 2.7 to hopefully ending this year around 2 or 2.2. So it really is time to look at what the rates we're charging for the health insurance. You guys did go up last year about 5.6%, and the county absorbed that whole 5.6%. It did go up for dependents, but we still kept at a 50% 50 ratio on dependents, what the county was paying. So we stopped and looked after that meeting on Thursday, not that we hadn't before, but we looked at who we compete with. We looked at the city, we looked at the state, and we looked at how much they charge their employees for the cost of the health insurance versus their dependents. The county has been lucky for at least the 34 years that I've been here. There's been no cost passed to the employee for the health insurance. And I think
Of the employee.
of the employee's cost, yes.
Right.
So, but it is very unusual that any employer doesn't pass some of that cost to the employee for the health insurance in any entity we looked at. So I am suggesting that we increase our rates by 6% total, the employee paying 3 of that increase and the county paying the other 3. That amounts to, the majority of our people are on a PPO plan. That amounts to about $20 a month. Again, that amount would be actually pre-tax, so it wouldn't even be the $20 a month for our employees. So the HSA, we were putting in $100 a month for those people that took that, talking about reducing that to $80 to make up that $20 that the people in the PPO would have to pay. So again, the HSA, even with the state, even with the city, and even with us, if you guys agree, would be free to the employee, basically, at no cost for the employee only. But it would reduce the amount of money you were putting into the HSA for them. So, again, not popular, but it's a small amount that I can't imagine. I know any amount is high. As far as what the budget is right now, it's in there at current, so we'd have to come up with that other 3% somewhere in the budget for each one of the funds that have employees. If you guys decide, watching that reserve, we need to really watch that reserve going forward. We don't want to get in a situation that all of a sudden one year we need to go up 40%, to make sure that we hit our reserves. So that is my recommendation, to go up 6%, having the employee pay 3, and the county paying the other 3.
This will result in the employee paying some premium for the employee,
Yes,
and that's a small number,
yes.
$20 a month.
$20 per month, $10 per pay period. Well, actually, there's 2 pay periods that they don't pay it because of
Right.
26 versus 24.
That's right.
Right, okay,
That was so continuing.
And then
Right.
dependent coverage would go up accordingly on that 3%.
right. I'll go ahead and tip you off on my multi-year plan here,
Okay.
which is to have the employee have a little skin in the game, but at some point, we relax that for those employees that will take the non-smoking pledge and live by it.
And there was.
Or non-tobacco, let's put it that way.
Yes. And when we did look at the other entities, there was a rate. We blended the rates. When we tried to compare the benefits that we have compared to the benefits that they have, compared to the premium that they're paying, compared to the premium that we weren't paying, we looked at, the entities had incentives, right, for the tobacco with and without. They had incentive for a wellness program, be it an app on the employee's phone that would have, you get so many points every month for doing things, and then that it helped your premium on the other side. Yes, that is a very popular item with some of these entities, of having some kind of incentive to help them with their premium. At $20 and the shortness of this, it wasn't likely that we could do that. I mean, does those programs help? Do they not help? I couldn't give you statistics on that, you know, as far as that goes, but that is an option for the future, yes.
Okay.
Does anybody else have any other questions, or?
I drilled you this morning about the questions, because I was just trying to get a handle on it all. Do we pass some of it on, or do we hopefully get bigger raises when it comes to budget time? And it's not a very big amount, so I don't think it's gonna affect the employees that much at this time, but hopefully we can still get some raises in there this year. I don't know if you give them a percentage raise or a flat rate, it might just be be able to offset some of that, the costs that we're gonna pass on. I think we're gonna have to pass it on at some point anyway, and I'd rather do it little by little than to try to pluck all the feathers at one time. You forgot the goose today.
Right.
And it's
So-
all that balancing act with the reserve, with the insurance fund, depending on how it's, you know, the biggest point is we want to keep that sound, and we want to keep that, you know, as not flexible, but we want to keep it as sound, I wrote down my words, as stable and as sound as we can possibly make it. So that's the point of it all.
So do you have this summarized in you do have it in
Well, the only motion I would ask you to make is basically a motion to accept a 6% increase in the rate with 3% to the employee and 3% to the county is one motion. And the other motion I would like for you guys to say that you will still be paying 50% of the dependent cost, which includes that, obviously. 3 for them and 3 for us. And those are really the two motions, and then I'll take it from there with open enrollment on the rate charges.
Is the open enrollment open now, or is it open November 1?
Next week.
Next week.
Yeah, November 4th, 6th, and 8th. Or
Okay.
November 4th, 7th, and 8th.
Change in the HSA contribution, do you think that would be part of the motion, or is that?
Oh, well, yeah, we could do that. That would be very
It
helpful.
just-
Yes,
Right.
yeah,
It's,
yeah.
I don't think it would hurt.
So we'll add that third motion to change the HSA contributions from 100 to 80. Yeah, you're right, Mark.
Let's knock that one off first. A motion to change the HSA contribution from 100 to 80
Yes,
per,
2025 years.
Per month, right?
Yes, it's
Per
per month.
month.
Yeah,
Yeah, month.
And it's paid on the first check of every month.
yeah.
okay.
Okay, second.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, that's the first motion. The second motion I'll make is that the 50% between the employer, employee for dependent coverage continue.
Yes.
I'm gonna second that. I just have a question if that includes spouse.
Yes. And spouse, if they qualify, right, we make them, if they have other insurance somewhere else, then we don't let people on the plan, you know, that have options somewhere else.
Bless you.
So, yes, that's been that way since we started.
Well,
Spouse
this-
is considered a dependent.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
that was
Yep.
just my clarification there, so, okay, very good.
Okay, you seconded?
We had, already seconded. That
Any
was my
other
question.
discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The third motion is that a 6% increase
That we take a 6% increase on our current rates.
on increase on current rates shared 50-50 between the employer and employee.
Yes.
Second.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Question.
Yes, sir.
So the 3% increase is gonna be on just the employee, or if they have employee and dependents, it's gonna be increase on both of them? All.
And we'll try to get out the rate sheets today
Yeah.
and the open enrollment packet to all the county employees. And again, this will be pre-tax, so it really won't cost them as much as $20 a month. So I appreciate it. It's not a fun year, but It could be worse.
Yeah,
Well, it went up quite a bit, so.
Yes.
We're able to
Absorb.
absorb that and not pass it all to the employee.
yep, it's kind of, we've been kind of a rarity in that we have not had employees. Everybody else I know, every other government entity is passing some on to their employees. Okay. Anything else to come before us before we go into closed session?
Just one.
Yes, sir.
So Debbie, you were talking about the wellness programs that some entities have. Jefferson City has that. And my wife does that, she participates in it, and it's, I think, a pretty well-run plan, and it offsets any, so for her, for example, you know, her premium that she would have to pay if she didn't choose the wellness program is a set amount, say it's $100. They reduce that to zero if they participate in it. And so I think that's a good option for employees that want to do that and invest in improving their health. I think that would be a good option
Yeah.
going forward into the future, if that's the way you choose to proceed.
And we compared the HSA is kind of that way. The other one, you know, it depends on how much they participate, how many points they get for their app. So the average person down the city was still paying, you know, for the employee. So it was, it's different, you know, you can get companies to keep track of that for you, you know, obviously that costs money to buy the apps to keep track of that. So yes, that is something in the future that I think can be looked at, you know, as far as getting people engaged.
Exactly.
And unfortunately, when you're paying the full premium, nobody's engaged, you know, but they will be engaged with this, I think.
Can I ask a question?
Yes,
Does the city make you participate in some kind of like coaching or wellness program? The reason I ask, worked for the state for 34 years, and I've had the state retiree insurance for the last 8 years. And they started out, you'd have to talk to like a health coach once a month, or at least be in contact. Now, all you gotta do is fill out a short quiz when you sign up for state, and then you get your wellness.
Reduced rate.
I can't answer that
So
question
that's
for
all you
sure.
do.
I
I
don't
didn't know
know
if
if
the city was more involved and.
I know that they have monthly wellness program, lunch and learn type things. There's exercise things. I know my wife, she's got an app and she tracks that kind of thing. And
Well, what I understand is they have an app on their phone they have to download, and they have to go out there monthly. And whatever they're doing, they earn points for whatever they do, and then they total those points up. And then depending on the points is the next month's premium, what it's gonna cost them. So it's pretty elaborate, it's
It is.
pretty, I mean, it's a system that they're paying somebody else to do for them, right? So,
like you were saying, you're putting some skin in the game to
Right.
keep your premiums down, and it's a good option for employees that want to do
yeah,
that.
I was just curious, because the state
yeah, the
did
states.
something like that for a while, but now, like I said, all you gotta do is fill out a short quiz, and you're open enrollment, and they give you the discount.
Yes.
Just
That is
takes
true.
5 minutes or whatever.
So you get negative points for eating donuts?
I'm sure nobody reports that. It is a kind of an honesty thing, it seems like, on most of those, even with the state, tobacco, non-tobacco. It's an
Yeah, the
honesty.
state does the tobacco thing. You gotta sign a promise that you're tobacco free.
be great if we had membership to like the Link or the Y or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, that's a whole nother,
Yeah, I know. I know.
cost that you guys can determine the benefit of whether that's worth it or not, you know, so, especially, but,
Okay,
okay.
anything else?
I'm just looking at the closed session here. We have real estate again, 610-021 subsection 2, which I had put on the agenda last week, and from what I understand, we're talking about the same thing I wanted to talk about. So how did it get on this agenda, but not last week's agenda? Or why was it pulled off of the agenda last week? So, because whenever we were talking about it, it was the exact same thing that we're talking about today, as far as I know. And I think you were told.
Depends on who the conversation is with.
It doesn't say that. It just says leasing, purchase, or sale of real estate by public governmental body where public knowledge of the transaction might adversely affect the legal consideration. So You had no idea what we were gonna talk about last week.
Actually, I did.
No, you did not. You didn't know what we were gonna talk about. Did you talk to Mark and ask him what he wanted to talk about?
I was included on the email,
That we were gonna talk about leasing property.
but they couldn't lease it to me.
We're talking about leasing it, not them. That's why I put it on the agenda. They had information they wanted to share with us.
Whatever.
So, I'm just asking what the difference is. I mean, we've got Dan here today. Sorry to put you in the middle of the scrap here with mom and dad, but
I think
it's
we
just
need
frustrating
to
that
go into closed session.
we had the same exact
Get
thing
too
last
far
week.
into this.
Then I'm not gonna second it then, because if I will for the other parts, for the bid negotiated contracts, but this other, we're not necessarily negotiating anything, we got some information, may not wanna go out there, but that was the same thing last week, when we had other people up
We can
here.
definitely have a conversation in open session, Jeff, if you want.
Okay, let's do it. What are we doing in closed session that we weren't gonna do last week? We found out some more information
We're gonna get a lot
and
more
whenever,
clarification.
I'm going to make the motion. You can vote against it. Are we ready for a motion?
Yes, please.
Pursuant to Section 610.021 of the revised statutes of Missouri, the commission will go into closed session to discuss the following. Real estate under Section 610.021 subsection 2. Pause. That's my motion.
Second.
First motion. Okay, that's my first motion, and you seconded it?
I second.
Okay.
We'll do roll call, do each one separately.
Mhm.
Roll call, please.
Sam,
Yes.
Harry,
Yes.
Jeff.
no.
You're supposed to say motion carried.
Motion carried.
All right. I'll make a motion to, under 610.021, go into closed session to cover responses to bids and negotiated contracts under Section 610.021 subsection 12.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Sam,
Yes.
Harry,
Yes.
Jeff.
Yes.
Motion carries. Okay.
So what if I wanna hear the information that was brought, but I don't agree that it should be in closed session?